15 minutes. It doesn't seem like much, but there are a variety of things that an individual can do in those 15 minutes. Here are just some examples. Step away from their desk. Forward an interesting article to someone. Make breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Check a social networking site. Stretch. Read. Write. Run. Play catch. These are just some examples of what one could accomplish. Simple, right? And now when you see this list, you ask yourself what is so important about 15 minutes. What is the significance of 15 minutes? At every 15-minute mark, a poacher is taking the life of an elephant. Why? Money draws out greed. Greed draws out power. And power brings out poachers. They kill elephants for their ivory tusks. An ivory casket, ivory chessboard, or anything that can be showcased on a mantelpiece and bragged about are the reasons that elephants are dying. If that isn't enough to repulse you, then this might be. Unfortunately, the U.S. is known for being the second biggest market for ivory, which if we dissect that, it means technically we are helping to pay the bills for these poachers to come out and commit such acts. If you still aren't convinced and seeing the bigger picture, then let's go with statistics. In 2012, 30,000 African elephants were killed because of the want for their tusks, and 668 rhinos in South Africa were killed because of their horns. And unfortunately, with each new year that approaches, the numbers are increasing rapidly. Animals aren't the only ones at risk. Humans are suffering too. Protecting wildlife is a dangerous job. More than 1,000 wildlife rangers, who are risking their lives every day to protect these animals, have been killed in the last decade by poachers and the illegal killing and trafficking of ivory. One voice isn't enough to make this stop. We need a chorus of individuals uniting together and making noise. We need to be heard. We need to speak up and make those aware of what is happening here. We need to ask our members of Congress to improve their efforts in helping to stop these animals from being killed, to crack down on the criminal networks that traffic them, and to crush the demand for illegal wildlife products like ivory. If nothing is done, the poaching crisis will only increase, as will the death of these animals. If nothing is done, then we will be greeted to the sad fact that these animals will cease to exist. Future generations will know of these animals only from online and books. We won't get to experience the sight of awe in a child's eyes as they come face to face with these magnificent and majestic animals. Enough is enough. The suffering has to stop. The greed has to end, or it will be the end for these animals. And that's a story that I do not want to close the book on. We may not be the ones venturing off to hunt. We may not be the ones who are striking and inflicting pain on these animals to obtain profit. We may not be the ones who are seen as the murderers. But if we sit and do nothing, if we do not rise and speak, we are helping to bring them closer to death. This is not a fate I want to be part of. And if you agree, then it's time you take a stand with me and all these other passionate individuals. Raise your voice and say no to ivory. My name is Ashley, and this is what I stand for: equality. I want to live in a world where equality exists, not just for humans but for animals too. Because we are one. We are all the same. When pain is inflicted upon us, we feel it. We bleed the same blood. We feel happiness and hope knowing the joys of freedom. And each being deserves to live in a world where we are free. Whether you have 2 hands, 2 paws, or 4 paws, we deserve to be free. I have a voice. I speak for those who can't speak for themselves. I am not a murderer, and I will not sit silently while these inhumane and cruel acts are committed. I stand for making a change. I stand for saying no to ivory. What do you stand for?